Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, where we're still on the lookout for Stella. We've gone to all of the extracurricular sites. So now we are going where the plot dictates us to go, which is Sybil's. Sybil has requested our presence. Hopefully she'll shed some light on what happened at the library just the other day. Also, supposedly there was an acting trick where you're supposed to, like, when you're looking at the camera, you don't look at the camera with both eyes. You look at the camera with just one eye, and then you look somewhere else. I have no idea how that's going to look like until I look at it in post. But as you consider your next steps, you remember your appointment with Sybil. She seemed to be confident last night that Stella would be okay. Maybe she'll be able to help you find her. She's the only person who believed you and Stella from the beginning. She could prove to be a valuable asset. Nobody ever seems to say anything to undermine her, except for her daughter. And daughters always clash with their mothers. This town trusts her. We should talk to your mom. I'm supposed to have tea with her today. Sure, we can humor her. She's probably going to give you some rocks or bundles of herbs for protection or something, which might actually work. Who knows? Guess there's only one way to find out. Oh wait, that was Kanisha. I was doing Avery's voice. And now Avery says, let's do it. The bells of the general store chime welcomingly as the three of you enter. Sybil says, Kanika, there you are. You were supposed to stay in bed today, remember? And hello, you two. Hope you're both recovered from last night's fiasco. Kanika says, sorry, Mom, it's just that Stella's missing and I... Sybil says, Stella can take care of herself. Unlike you, you need bed rest and lots of fluids. You don't need to go running around town spreading that cold of yours. Maybe have a beer, a Pepsi, honey in bear jars with bread. Go on, get up to bed. I'll be up in a minute with more tea. Kanika says, I thought you had some kind of important thing to talk to Malice about. I'm really feeling okay. I want to hear what you wanted to say to her. Sybil says, I'll just be doing a tea reading. Haven't those always bored you to tears? You can't spell tears without tea. Kanika, nothing. Oh, okay, you're right. I'm not feeling well. I should really lie down. Bye, Malice. Kanika turns and heads towards the stairs without saying another word. Good thing Kanika has her mom looking out for her. She seemed so tired today, and you'll probably be able to find Stella without her. Sybil says, and I'm so sorry to be a bad host, Avery, but I was hoping Malice and I could do our reading in private. I'm sure Winnie needs some help at the diner. Avery says, you're right. I've totally left her on her own today. Fine by me, I wouldn't want to mess with your tea vibes. I'm sure those leaves are very particular. Oh, but before I go, I did want to ask, are you a witch? Avery does not beat around the bush. Sybil says, as flattered as I am that you think I'm that magical, I'm just an old lady who likes tea and has a few unusual hobbies. Avery says, look, I'm just saying, doing stuff like reading tea leaves is pretty witchy, as far as I'm concerned, but I won't push it. Though, just so you know, if you are a witch, you can totally tell us. We'd be cool about it. Especially now, considering what's been happening. I'll leave y'all to your not-supernatural private tea leaf reading. We'll catch up tomorrow, Malice. They make their way out of the general store, disappearing down the street in the direction of the diner. Sybil says, shall we? Sybil motions towards the tea room. clearly designated tea. Follow Sybil to the tea room. Sybil says, "Please, have a seat. I'll bring you a fresh cup." You take a seat at the small table at the edge of the room. It's dark here, only a sliver of sunlight able to filter through the heavy curtains, supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plant in the corner. Are there plants in the drawers? Sybil joins you at the table and places a cup in front of you. It smells light and citrusy, with an undercurrent of decaying earth. It's the same tea you sampled with Avery at the diner on Tuesday. Sybil says, "I'll be able to do a reading once you're done. Until then, how about we just chat?" So how did you wind up in Scarlet Hollow? Sybil says, "Oh, my family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. I probably don't need to designate the speaker if it's just the two of us. Everything I've learned was handed down from the generations of hillfolk. There hasn't always been a reliable doctor up here, especially not one most folks could afford. They have to figure out their own medicine. The other day you promised to tell me, what was it? Unsavory tales, my mom's youth? The other day you oh, that was me again. I most certainly did, though I might have been exaggerating a bit for dramatic effect. I'm prone to do that. In a town this size, you get to know everybody, no matter what the age difference might be. Vivian was a little younger than me, which meant I always had a certain older sister instinct about her. Her family wasn't good to her. Pearlan was a lot like your great-grandmother, Edwardine, which is to say she's not a very kind woman. Similar to Tabitha, but with more social grace and considerably more hatred for her fellow man. But your mother wasn't a shrinking violet either. She was just as stubborn as any other Scarlet, so her family choosing her as their punching bag made her into quite the rebel. Why were Pearlan and my mom raised by Edwardine? What happened to their mother? Their entry into this world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young, too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. She didn't survive the labor. I feel like I know a lot about the women in my family, but what about the men? Did they even exist? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Her husband died a long time ago, and to be quite honest, I can't even recall his name. Might have been Stuart or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, her father was some teenaged fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older, and I believe she was the one who ended it. What, with skipping town and all? What do you know about my grandma? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. What happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. It was like she'd been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else. But she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock. So I assumed your mother's worries had something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious, as far as I know. But the way Vivian was that night she came to me, it stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. Let us sip our tea. Let's sip the tea. You take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness at its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. But the aftertaste combines the two flavors into something soothing and medicinal, and you find yourself feeling more comfortable, your muscles relaxing for the first time in days. What's with all the mystery and ritual? If you have something to tell me, just come out and say it. I'll need your tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help to give me the full picture. Let us finish the tea then. You close your eyes and take another sip, and then another. It's delightful. The tea is gone before you know it, the small cup empty save for what's left of rehydrated leaves coating the bottom. Oh good, glad you found the tea palatable enough to drink. It should do you some good. It's one of my more medicinal blends. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit in the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. All of these mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with definite urgency. It's fair to assume that this all has to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure. But we may at the very least be able to figure out what it is. And there's a central figure here, a cat, an enemy lurking in plain sight. I would imagine that enemy is Wayne, or else perhaps somebody who's controlling Wayne, or there's another entity beyond Wayne. How do I know you're not the cat? I'm gonna say that cat could be Wayne. He follows me wherever I go. It's almost like he's literally lurking in plain sight. That may be the case, but the tea leaves tend to lean more into the symbolic side of things. I personally have a hard time believing that Wayne is a cat. You shouldn't trust a word out of that man's mouth, but the cat implies a certain level of two-facedness that I don't think he possesses. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Just be on guard and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. Who should I not trust? Tabitha? Because she has her own secrets along the Scarlets? Stella? Because that would be too obvious for the character who seems the most trustworthy to be the one that stabs you in the back? We know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming your way, and it's likely that it's connected to some hidden enemy. Perhaps we can try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Judging by what you told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out, piece together what you can from your visions, and arm yourself with information. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Well, yes, there's the door at Reese's. Your thoughts drift to that door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. You didn't get all this from tea leaves. Of course she didn't. She's smart. She knows how to deduce things from the leaves. Of course not. Tea leaves are merely a guide. Sometimes they can help confirm suspicions or fill in where my intuition falls short. My family has lived in these hills a long time, as has yours. I know the Scarlets have secrets. I know Vivian was scared for you. But your place in all this is something we have to figure out together. And that's where little tricks like tea leaves come in handy. But we shouldn't digress. Do you know where you might find the next stone? I think I felt another in the clinic. That's good. If you can find your way inside and uncover another stone, that could give you a leg up on your adversary. You'll just have to be careful to avoid the doctor. Is Sybil the traitor? Something tells me she won't take too kindly to you sniffing around her clinic. If I recall correctly, there's a hill that'll take you nearly all the way to the second story, and she never locks any of the doors up there. Just in case that's helpful information. Wink. I think that's all the help I can offer. I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers. You helped last night. Why don't you come with me? I may have been able to see through that spirit's illusions, but I'm not some kind of all-powerful entity. I'm an old woman, I have trouble with my knees, and my eyesight isn't what it used to be. In most situations, I'd be more of a liability than a helpful companion. Imagine if I'd been in those mines with you, some use I'd be, struggling to climb over rocks and ladders, throwing my back out from all the crouching. Thanks, I'll let you know if I find anything. Glad to hear it. I hope all goes well, and I wish you luck. Hopefully you won't need it. Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table, and you're escorted back to the door. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce. And merely being ready for it might not be enough. I like how Kanisha has angry eyebrows in her family portrait. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its door strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store. Should we talk to Miles? Yeah, let's talk to Miles. Actually, I don't really care. Let's check in on Kanika. You're not going anywhere before checking in on Kanika. You make your way upstairs. Knock. You knock on Kanika's door. Mom, I really don't need any more tea. I think I'm just going to lie down for a while. Can I come in? Oh, hey. Sorry, Malice. My mom was right. I'm exhausted. I probably shouldn't push it or I'll wind up worse off tomorrow. It looks like you're on your own. You make your way out of the general store and down the road to the clinic. You make your way up the familiar hill, past the rows of ragged houses that make up Scarlet Hollow's residential area. It isn't long before you find yourself outside of Dr. Kelly's clinic, its secrets enticing you to find a way in. Even at the bottom of the hill, you can already feel the presence. It's like a magnet has been fixed to your ribcage, gently tugging you forward, guiding you towards whatever emits this compulsive frequency. You can see the hill Sybil was talking about, wrapped around the back of the old hospital like a stone blanket. It should take you directly up to the second floor and the unlocked doors of the terrace. I mean, let's try just going through the clinic door. It's a doctor's office, not Fort Knox. Why would the clinic door even be locked? You carefully make your way up the old wooden stairs of the clinic's wraparound porch, avoiding any suspiciously creaky-looking steps. You push the door open slowly, just enough for you to slip in, but not enough to risk any sound from the door's ancient hinges. You can see the doc at a desk in some room down the hall. She hasn't noticed you. You shut the door silently, watching her closely. You're in the clinic, free to explore as you please. Or rather, you're free to explore as you please. You can feel that odd sensation again, the nagging pull of whatever it was that wanted you to find it. You've been caught by its gravity, an overwhelming curiosity guiding you around a corner and towards a dark doorway under the stairs. It's been left ajar, as if inviting you to enter. Turn on the lights. The lights click on. You're in the morgue. Malice, what are you doing in the morgue? What are you doing sleeping in a morgue? I'm sure it looks weird. It's not like I expected anyone to come down here. I was just, practicing, a rehearsal, if you will. Rehearse, you say? A good one. His words seem distant to you. The tugging is strong down here. You can almost feel yourself slipping into a trance, and your eyes wander to the back wall of the morgue. You need to see what's back there. Follow the pull. You touch the wall. It feels disappointingly solid under your palms. Hey, are you okay? You feel Reese's hand gently shake your shoulder, and for a moment the thing on the other side of the blank white wall loosens its pull on you. You kind of looked possessed for a second there. You good? Make him understand. There's a stone carving on the other side of that wall, and I need to see it. Reese glances back at the... That's not Reese talking, that's the narrator. Reese glances back at the wall. You're really serious, aren't you? This is probably a bad idea, but if you really need to get in there, I'm pretty sure there's an emergency axe somewhere upstairs. I just need to get the doc out of our hair. Should take 2 seconds. Get the doc out of our hair? Yeah, if I say I'm sick and need something, she'll drop whatever she's doing and do it for me. Surefire way to get her out of the house. And most of the time it's true anyway. Doesn't that make her worry about you even more? Can she worry about him even more than she already does? There's nothing I can do at this point to get her to stop worrying about me. Might as well use it to my advantage when I can. Sounds great. Lead the way. Sweet. Be right back. He strides past you, his long legs moving swiftly. He seems excited, his usual dour demeanor replaced with an uncharacteristic pep when faced with the prospect of sneaking around and tearing down walls. You hear his soft voice filtering in through the open doorway at the top of the stairs, a hoarse and sickly edge added for effect as he speaks to his mother. Hey, Mom. He coughs gently. Reese. Dr. Kelly says, Reese, I didn't know you were awake. I still feel like shit, but I think I can finally try to keep some juice down. It looks like we're all out, though. Really? I thought I just picked some up. I've got an errand to run on Main Street anyway. I'll go pick up some orange juice and some ginger ale, too. That would be awesome. Sorry to ask. I know you're probably busy. It's no problem. It doesn't take long. Don't do anything too strenuous while I'm gone. Just lie in bed until I get back. Thanks, Mom. I'll take it easy. You hear her footsteps move down the hall, then the front door opening and closing. It worked! The theatric rasp has left his voice, excitement rising in its place. Come on up, we don't have long until she's back. As you step out of the morgue, you relax. The extra space between you and the carving has weakened its hold on you, and with it, your desperation to claw your way through the wall and unveil it. It's one of those emergency fire axes, so it should be pretty obvious where it is, though I'm not sure where she would be keeping it. I'll show you around. Let's try the doc's office first. You make your way to the doorway of her now vacant office. I don't see an axe in here. He's right. A cursory glance reveals nothing but stacks of paper and cabinets of medical supplies. But something on the desk catches your eye, some sort of records with your family's name on them. I'm going to pick up the documents to read later. You scoop up the folder, tucking the documents in for later perusal. Reese watches you with curiosity. Stealing medical documents? If my family is going to keep secrets from me, I'd better learn what I can. Totally. Steal anything you need to. You've got mysteries to solve. I'm not going to stand in your way. Let's check the medical supply room next. I can imagine a room full of chemicals being a place someone might want to keep an axe. Better be careful stealing stuff in there, though. That might really get you in trouble. You turn around and leave the office. It's time to move on. The medical supply room is probably a good bet. A fire axe seems like something that might be useful in a room full of chemicals. It's just down the hall. There it is! Looks like it needs a key, though. We'd better not break the glass. I'd rather explain why I had to steal the axe after we've had a chance to use it. There must be a key in here somewhere. Reese stops to listen to something. You can hear it too, but ever so faintly. The sound of footsteps just outside the clinic. Shit, she's back already. The front door to the clinic open and close. The front door to the clinic opens and closes. The creak of its antique hinges echoing down the hallway. Footsteps start down the hall. She's headed this way. Quick, we gotta hide. I'm not supposed to be in here. He opens the door. He opens the closet door and hurriedly motions you inside. You slip past him, scrunching into the small space as best you can. He attempts to slide in after you. Let him in. You make space, and he slips in next to you, closing the door just enough that you can both still monitor the entrance to the supply room. Dr. Kelly storms in, plastic bag in tow. She takes something out of the bag and places it on the counter. And then she hurries back out, bag rustling as she makes her way back down the hallway. We'd better wait a second just in case. Quietly wait for the danger to pass. We're already busy flirting with Stella, so I'm sorry, Reese. We cannot flirt with you, despite the fact that you have really cool art. The two of you stand in tense silence, both crammed into the suffocating closet, taking shallow breaths, as if she could hear you breathing from the other side of the building. But the footsteps soon return. Dr. Kelly makes her way back towards your hiding place, creaking floorboards, broadcasting her location all the way to the hallway just outside your hiding spot. His head swivels suddenly. That was the door to the house. We're in the clear. Let's go. The two of you spill out of the closet. Reese quickly and quietly starts pulling out drawers, scanning them for keys. Let's investigate the weird plant Dr. Kelly left behind. The strange sprig of fuzzy fruit draws your eye. You step forward to take a closer look. It looks out of place on the sterile steel countertop. Its broad, short-pronged leaf already wilting in the unnatural lighting. Your thoughts are interrupted by the jingling of keys. Sweet, found them. And they're color-coded, too easy. Reese unlocks the cabinet and offers you the fire axe. Here's your axe. He hands you the axe, then pauses, realizing you've been poring over the weird little plant. That was what she took out of the bag, right? That's weird. Does she make her own medicine? She's not a pharmacist. I don't think she's supposed to do that. This is just supposed to be where she stores medicine she orders from a pharmacist over in Brevard. He picks up the plant. Weird little alien fruit. It's gotta be medicinal, right? Maybe she has a recipe somewhere. And we have her keys. Let's see what some of these locked drawers have to hide. He starts unlocking drawers. Medicinal supplies, name brand meds. He pauses at the next drawer. Mysterious unlabeled notebook. This is about me. There's stuff in here from when I was like 12. It's some kind of diary or medical history or both, I guess. What the hell is this? Something about another episode. Guessing she's referring to one of my rough nights. Oh, here we go. There's some illustrations. He glances to the strange plant on the countertop. It's that. She uses that to make my medicine. Extract by boiling berries. Great. She doesn't say what the berries are or what she's extracting. Leaving out the names. Real suspicious. Sounds like something someone would do if they didn't want much of a paper trail. But why would... You and Reese jerk your heads to the sound of an opening door. The doctor is in. Shit, that was the door from the house. We've got to run. You follow Reese's instruction, once again starting down the basement stairs, letting the pull of the stone carving guide you back to the morgue. Dr. Kelly's voice filters down from above. I was right, we did already have juice. It was just in the back of the fridge, but there's no harm in having extra. What are you doing in the clinic? I thought I told you to go rest. Oh, I'm just gonna chill in the morgue. I got my speakers, so if you hear some weird sounds, that's just my music. I'll be sure to put in earplugs to drown out all that industrial clanging you listen to. You know I'm not the biggest fan of you spending time down there. It can't be good for your mental health to be hanging out in a refrigerator for corpses. Do you at least have a blanket this time? Yes, I'll be fine. It's just a change of scenery. My room feels too claustrophobic right now. Okay, I'll let you know when it's time for dinner. You hear the door at the top of the stairs close and the sound of Reese descending the stairs to join you in the fluorescent lit room below. Hey. Wall now, yes? Wall. Let's do this. You listen to music that sounds like a wall being broken down? Of course I do. I'm sad all the time. Glad my taste in music is finally coming in handy. It's exactly the cover we need. Stop asking questions. It's time to see what's on the other side of that wall. Let's do this. I'd like to do the honors if you don't mind. I've got some confused and angry feelings I'd like to express. Reese takes the axe from you and approaches the wall. Reese manages to cut through the wall with very little effort, unexpected from someone with his frame and condition, but you know his stringy muscles are backed by a mounting fury at what's been done to him. That goes a long way. He staggers back from the massive hole in the wall and admires his work. Holy shit! The splintered edge frames a dark passage, seemingly cut deep into the side of the cliff, cold seeping from a forgotten place into the already frigid morgue. You know, you'd think that we would have learned something from opening the hatch in the library, because opening the hatch opens up the ghost. Reese coughs as he takes a better look at what lies beyond the wound in the wall. There's a whole hallway back there. Thick, stale air leaks from the hole, filling the morgue with an earthly mildew smell, like the room is slowly filling with dirt. And with the stink of the grave-like room beyond comes an even stronger compulsion. You step forward, and you climb into the hole. This is wild. I had no idea any of this was here, an entire hospital wing, rotting away for decades behind some flimsy drywall. His voice sounds distant. Your sole focus is finding it. Your feet move without prompting, and you stumble down the hallway towards the far wall, barely registering the antique clutter as you stagger past it. Whoa, are you okay? You don't respond, and you don't bother to retrieve the axe. The wall is rotten, water damage having eaten away at the wood over the course of unknowable years, the planks nearly reduced to sawdust. You tear into it. An injured man says, "Enoch, I thought you weren't going to come. I was worried you'd leave me here forever. They said there's nothing they can do. I'll never use my legs again. Enoch, what am I to do?" Hold on. Throat scratchy. Need water. All right. Enoch, what am I going to do? Enoch says, "Calm down, Teddy. These doctors don't know what they're talking about." I've been doing my own research, and I found us an alternative. We won't have to worry about anything from here on out, I promise. I went to talk to the witch. Teddy says, "A witch? But that's nonsense." Enoch says, "It's all right. It's all sorted out. We're taking you home today, and everything will be resolved by this time next week." Everything goes black. Your vision swims back into focus, and it takes a solid second or two to reorient yourself. You're in an unfamiliar bed. Reese leans against the far wall, eyeing you with concern and curiosity. Also, I'm looking at Reese's room from the other side, and that's clearly a Hellraiser poster. I don't know about the other posters, but that's clearly Hellraiser. "Hey, I was worried you'd slipped into a coma or something. You tore down a wall like a wild animal, found some weird carving and collapsed. I think you might have had some kind of seizure. Are you okay?" Wait, nothing spooky happened. The mountain didn't collapse on us. No ghosts? No, nothing. You just fell down, twitched a little, and when you seemed stable, I carried you back here. That was a few hours ago. Great. Glad I'll have at least one mostly normal day this week. Too bad. With your track record, I was kind of hoping we'd run into some unimaginable horrors. At least I know there's an abandoned hospital wing in the morgue. I'm pretty sure there's plenty in there to get creeped out by. Does Dr. Kelly know I'm here? No, I snuck you back into the house while she was busy in the medical storage room. Figured you wouldn't want to come to in the morgue. I had a vision. Like a hallucination? I have those sometimes too. Used to have them a lot as a teen. Always just weird little things, like my hands would look wrong, or my neck would seem too long, or the room would feel smaller. These carvings are clearly drilled into some big gas pocket that keeps giving me seizures and hallucinations. Let's see. I think the carvings are trying to warn me about something. My family has dark secrets. An old family like yours, I believe it. Hopefully that's all ancient history, though. So what now? We might be stuck down here for a little bit. The doc is on a warpath up there. I refuse to take my medicine, and she's not happy about it. But after I read this, there was no way I was going to take anything she gave me. She's been poisoning me for years. I went ahead and blocked my door so she can't get down here. Now we just have to wait her out. You blocked your door? Of course I did. Put a chair in front of it. It's never failed me before. We don't need her coming down here to finish me off, or whatever it is she might do now that I know what her treatment plan has been all these years. Good. That gives us time to figure out a game plan. Exactly. I think we should treat her like a legitimate threat. I have these weird memories. I always assumed they were dreams or hallucinations because they didn't fit the way I thought of her, but I think she's used tranquilizers on me other times that I've gotten too unruly for her. I don't know how much of these memories I can trust, but I'm starting to think I should believe my instincts when it comes to the lengths she's willing to go to keep me under her control. We'll wait until she's asleep, then we can at least get out of the basement and we can figure out what to do from there. But why would your mom poison you? I don't know. But it's all in here. She never outright says what she's doing. And the recipe she came up with to deal with my flare-ups, whatever she thinks those are, involves that weird plant that was on the counter. I managed to look up the plant she's been using to make my medicine, and the internet says it's castor bean. It's used to make ricin, a super deadly poison that causes some of my exact symptoms. The thing I can't figure out is whether she's been trying to kill me slowly or if she just likes keeping me sick enough to be dependent on her. Either way, I don't think I ever had an illness. I think the illness was me growing up and becoming less easy to control. She sure found a cure for that. Ricin is really bad. How are you not dead? I don't know. Maybe it's low enough doses, or maybe I developed a tolerance. But I think the fact that I feel more and more alive by the minute is enough proof that she was keeping me sick. I don't even need solid evidence. No matter what, we should get out of this basement soon. Where would we go? The only person I know who has a car is Kanika, and she's not answering her phone. I don't know anyone else. I don't have any other family to go to. I never even finished high school. When I get out of this house, I don't even know how I can make sure I don't wind up right back down here. One step at a time. Let's just start by waiting out your mom and getting out of here. You shouldn't call her my mom. As far as I'm concerned, she's forfeited the title. I don't even think I should call her doctor. She's just some woman now. Can't wait for her to be in the rearview mirror of the rest of my life. We'll see if we can wait her out. If she doesn't fall asleep by 10, we can figure out something else. We can figure something else out. These windows are supposedly shatterproof, which she always said was for burglars. Now I assume it was yet another way to keep me boxed in. But we can try to break them anyway. A distraction seems like a good idea. As you can probably tell, I'm getting a bit jittery. Maybe it's the lack of poison in my system for the first time in years, or the fact that my whole perception of reality has been turned on its head. Probably a combo. It doesn't feel awful, to be honest. I believe you owe me a showing of Shi no Chi, Death Blood. I believe I do. Reese gets the movie sets up and joins you on the bed. Let me know if it gets to be too much for you. I'm not a great judge of how other people react to the sort of things I watch, but I definitely don't want you to feel uncomfortable. This is a slow burn of a movie, but the dread it's managing to build is palpable in the room. Or maybe that's just how it feels down here all the time, with the grisly paintings, lack of lighting, cinder block walls, and of course, the fact that the woman currently lurking upstairs had been poisoning her son since his teens. I've seen a couple of the director's other films, and they're all interesting, though this is probably the best introduction to his work. The way it jump cuts to seemingly unrelated TV show recordings that then wind up tying back into the narrative adds a level of realism and depth to the world that I find really engrossing. It's found footage used to its fullest. I can't believe I'll be able to just do things from here on out, like watch movies with another person. Or talk to people, ever. You hear the difference in energy now that Reese hasn't had his daily dose of poison. He's uncharacteristically chatty, clearly not used to talking to another person, let alone when he has the energy to carry on a long conversation. Let's not... no. I'm glad you'll be able to have a social life, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Reese smiles to himself. It's still hard to imagine, hard to believe after all these years alone that's going to be my reality. A man on the screen yells portents of doom into the camera, trailing off into a wordless scream. The plot is really heating up. I love that there are all these distant sort of vignettes, like little pockets of horror that affect a small number of people. And only once you start to see how they fit together can you realize some fundamental horror about the universe. Is that just a summary of what this game's story is about? We're all just seeing little vignettes, little pockets of horror, before we see how they connect together. And then it sees you back, incredible, cosmic horror in the truest sense. Reese is becoming very animated. It's probably safe to assume he's dealing with a lot of extra adrenaline right now, what with his entire reality turning out to be a lie. But he's also talking over the movie. Reese, are you feeling okay? I'm just jittery. We've just had a really long day, and I think being down here is making me anxious. I'm all hopped up on adrenaline. Maybe waiting out the dock is a bad idea. The longer we wait, the more likely it is she'll figure out that we're onto her, and it would be too easy for her to lock me up again and be thorough about it this time. There's a knock on the window. Wayne says, "Alice, don't get any closer to that thing. It's time to go home." That voice, I know that voice. Is that who's been following you around? Without another word, Wayne starts pounding on the supposedly shatterproof window. Enemies upstairs, enemies outside. We're surrounded. If I get out of this house, I won't be safe. You won't be safe. What do you mean? Wayne isn't going to hurt you. He hasn't hurt anyone. Yes, he will. He's furious with me. Can't you hear it? But I'm not weak anymore. I can fight back. I don't have to cower in fear from the people who want to hurt me. I can protect both of us, Malice. The window shatters. As Reese tears at his clothes, paint bubbles out from the canvases, his ghoulish figures peeling themselves out of their two-dimensional worlds, invading yours, crawling up the walls. Grab my hand. I'll pull you out. Reese says, "Leave us alone." Reese. In a surge of violence, the change that has been brewing inside Reese finally comes. As it manifests, the broken basement window is sealed off, and Wayne along with it. Let's go to the stairs. You've seen enough to know you need to leave. You run up the stairs. The door is blocked by the chair, and then it's blocked by something else too. Let's try and tear through them. You toss the chair out of the way and do your best to tear through the substance covering the door. It reforms and regenerates too quickly for you to claw your way through. Defeated, you turn back to the basement. The remainder of Reese's paintings await their artist's command. I have a demon voice for Wayne, but I don't have one for Reese. It should probably be based on my regular voice for Reese. Reese, I've kind of given a... It's okay, stay right there. So I need to...
It's okay, stay right there. I can take care of this. Then she won't be able to hurt anyone anymore. I'll be right back.
Reese storms up the stairs, leaving you with his smears. You're not sure who to help. Best to follow Reese and see how... Let's try and warn Dr. Kelly. You make your way to the door that beckoned to you yesterday, all intrigue now washed away. You know where it leads, and you know what secrets the stone that lurked in the forgotten basement of the clinic had to share with you. Now the clinic holds a new horror. Somewhere beyond the narrow hallway leading from the house proper into the doctor's office, there is a monster preparing to do something unthinkable. Open the door. You grasp the handle and turn. Dr. Kelly emerges from the shadows and levels a firearm in your direction. You instantly notice it's not a proper rifle, but some kind of tranquilizer gun. "Duck!" Dr. Kelly shouts. I duck. You do as she says, ducking out of the way. She shoots. The gun isn't very loud. There's only a pop as the projectile leaves the barrel, whizzing through the air. You turn to see the dart embedded in Reese's chest. He pulls the tranquilizer dart out of the chest, heaving heavy breaths as the drug courses through his system.
You're going to have to try harder than that, you...
No! How did you...
As if you could hope to stop me, your pathetic waste of flesh.
Before Wayne takes another step down the stairs, paint flows out between cracks in the wood. Reese is panic, pulling in a mob of furious smears to hold his enemies in place. The artist darts away, but the smears continue their work in his absence. Dr. Kelly makes her escape down the hallway, and Wayne is overcome, glued in place at the top of the stairs by stiffening globs of paint. Let's run after Dr. Kelly. You run forward, braving the onslaught of the smears, dodging them as best as you can to try to see where Dr. Kelly went. The door in front of you is smothered in paint. Hey! Dr. Kelly's voice crackles out of some unseen speaker. Dr. Kelly says, "You, Malice. I'm stuck in the safe room. I can't help you from here, but you can help both of us." You survived. What is going on? Dr. Kelly says, "I think you can probably put that together. I need you to get to the medicinal storage room. I'll give you further instructions when you're there. Head to the medicinal storage room." You turn around and head back to the medicinal storage room. "I'm here." Dr. Kelly says, "Great. Now listen to me. I need you to use the black taped key to get into the cabinet and bring me the elephant tranquilizers. It's a bottle labeled carfentanil. Bear tranquilizers clearly aren't going to cut it anymore."
An intercom system, huh, Doc? Good, you should hear this. Malice, you don't have to do anything she says. I'm not going to hurt anybody else. Just her. If I don't, you and I both know she's going to shoot me full of elephant tranquilizers. Did I hear that right? And shove me back down in that basement, or maybe even someplace worse, and keep killing me every day for the rest of my miserable existence.
Reese, you should see somebody about your teeth.
I feel amazing right now. Better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm not dangerous. She's just scared because she knows she has to finally pay for what she's taken from me.
I'm not going to let you kill someone, Reese.
Why not? She wasn't afraid I might die. Does she know those tranquilizers aren't going to kill me? Does she care?
Trust, Dr. Kelly says. Trust me, Reese. I've always been careful with your medication. I want you to live. I love you.
Tell yourself whatever lies you have to, Mom. If you wanted a good relationship, you had your chance and you decided to convince me I was dying instead of just letting me exist. Don't try to spin it like some kind of crime of passion now that consequences are staring you in the face.
Enough, says Wayne. Reese cries out in pain.
What the hell did you do to my shoulder?
You see for the briefest instant something coming out of Wayne's sleeve. Just a flash of pale yellow, then it's gone, slithering back into Wayne's clothes.
I'll handle it. Try to get somewhere safe until then.
The two stagger off down the hallway. Dr. Kelly says, quick, grab the tranquilizers and head to the safe room. Let's grab the tranquilizers. You do as she says. The tranquilizers are easy to find, marked with a small square of black tape to match the key. She's certainly an organized woman. Head for the safe room. You make your way out of the medicinal storage room and head back to the hallway where Dr. Kelly disappeared. As you approach, Dr. Kelly heaves open the door, slowly breaking apart the mass of paint, sealing it shut. Dr. Kelly says, hurry, I don't think I can keep it open for long. You slip past her into the safe room. She shuts the door quickly, though one of the little smears manages to slip past her. She stomps on it. Painted viscera splatters across the cement floor. All right. I think this is where I'm going to stop for the night, because I'm also out of water. I could probably get more, but... Whew. We'll figure out what happens with Reese and Wayne and Dr. Kelly and myself next time. For now, got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.